Right. So today we're starting our Waiting on God series, and we'll be looking at the Lord is compassionate. If there we go. But just sort of to kind of introduce the plan that we're doing. This is sort of a 3-week series that actually we've taken this inspiration from a Bible plan that you can find on the app version. And kind of as Christians, we spend a lot of time waiting on God, and this series is really about what waiting on God is, but also how we can trust Him in the process, which can sometimes feel impossible. And waiting wears down our patience, and how, and that's just natural. So we're kind of looking at how we can deal with that and not become sort of place extra demands on God, and what we can learn from the experience. We're probably all going through some season of waiting at the moment, and so we want to use this series as a chance to connect together, pray together, share our stuff, as we kind of go through our respective seasons, and perhaps in some cases those are shared seasons. Throughout the series, we're going to learn that God is compassionate, He's faithful, and He is enough. So we're going to do this over 3 weeks, and so today we're going to start off by looking at the first word, compassionate. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about sort of just waiting in general, and which I was titled the section waiting on the NHS, which we all, I think, have a lot of respect and love for at the moment. But about 14 months ago, yeah, probably about 14 months ago now, I broke my elbow. I fell down the stairs at college, very dangerous place, and I broke my olecranon, which is part of the end of your elbow. And it was bad enough that it required surgery, and so I had 2 wires put in to connect the pieces of the elbow both back together, and I also had which was super stitch, which just kind of keeps it all together. And I then had 3 months of orthopedic appointments, and 5 months of physiotherapy to regain movement in my elbow. I was in plaster for about 6 weeks, I think. And then whilst it did the job and the bone healed properly, it wasn't perfect. I didn't have full movement, and my elbow was quite often bruised from the wires because they're so close to the surface. And so my surgeon scheduled me in for a second operation. That was supposed to happen in about March, April time 2020. But then a small thing happened called a pandemic, and we're all obviously at home. We're doing this from our homes because there's a pandemic on, and it basically meant that I was just waiting indefinitely, because that was the plan. So that got cancelled in March. And I was just waiting on the second operation, and at this point I was pretty fed up of waiting. I'd done a lot of waiting in waiting rooms for all these various appointments. Anyone who's ever had a hospital appointment will know, particularly practice clinics are really bad for this. They do not run very well to time. And so I'm now then waiting just on this surgery, which was not a long surgery. It was about 20-25 minutes, I think. for about 10 months, which is a long time when your elbow is pretty constantly bruised and painful. And the waiting was very hard. But I had this operation about 2 weeks ago. And it was successful. Those of you who know me know I was then in a lot of pain after it. But I had those wires and stitches removed, and I now have regained pretty much full movement. Once I got over the pain of the surgery, it hasn't been painful. So what I kind of really wanted to take from sort of this not really God-related testimony is that the waiting was incredibly hard and it was painful and it made me feel quite low at times, but it was worth it because I got something far better out of it. I got a non-painful, fully functioning elbow, which is a pretty good thing. If I'd just given up waiting and I got fed up and I just decided to cancel the second operation, which I could have done. It wasn't a required operation. It was solely done for my comfort. I could have got on with my life rather than waiting indefinitely for a call to come into hospital. But it was worth it. And here we are now. Throughout the Bible, there are multiple references to God's compassion and love. I tried to find, when I was researching for the talk, like how many times God's compassion or love is mentioned in the Bible, and I actually couldn't come up with a number because it is such a frequent reference. It'd be quite hard to count all of them. But if God loves us and is compassionate for us, why do we seem to spend so much of our life waiting on him to sort of show it to us? And why is it good to wait? And these are two questions I'm going to try and answer over the next couple of minutes. In Lamentations 3, verses 22-26, it says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." So we gain understanding and we learn from the waiting. It means that we humble ourselves. We say to God that we are lesser than him, that he is so powerful that we are willing to give up our time and wait on him. But it also means that we appreciate what we receive from the waiting more. My operation, when we got the phone call just before Christmas that it was going to go ahead, and they gave us a appointment for sort of a day for the operation and also for the COVID test I had to do before hospital and then had to self-isolate because pandemic. My mum had the phone call and she told me what they had, and I literally shouted yes. I was so happy about it, and I wouldn't have had that reaction if I had had it back in sort of March, April time when it was supposed to, because I'd been waiting for this for so long. It made me so happy and I really appreciated it going ahead. In the same way, when we wait on God, we appreciate what he gives us more from the waiting. We also appreciate God and his powerfulness more through the waiting. We also learn obedience through this waiting. Kind of, I thought, reinforces this kind of parent-child relationship that we have with God. which brings us back to this love and compassion. God loves us, but that doesn't mean that he's going to do everything for us. In the same way, your parents almost certainly love you. Mine certainly do, and I have a great relationship with my parents, but they don't do everything for me. If they tell me to do something, they expect me to do it, because obedience, we are called to be obedient to our parents. And this is the same relationship that we have with God, that by he calls us to wait. And so by waiting on him and learning to be patient through that, we learn to be greater obedient servants to him. In Isaiah 30, it says, "Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Therefore he will rise up to show you compassion. The Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all who wait for him." And then in James 5, it says, "As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy." Now, this sort of verse refers to the book of Job, which you can go and read in your own time, and I'd recommend you do if you don't know the story already. But Job basically went through lots of trials in his life, and he was waiting on God to give him something good. But through his perseverance, through his waiting and his patience for God, he received great rewards. So you go reading this. So what we learn is that through our patience, through our waiting, God showers his love and compassion on us even more. It says here, "The Lord is full of compassion." Now I'm gonna share a prayer from the team that created this devotional.
There's something both dull and draining about waiting. To be honest, I'm not very good at it. But here I am, and it's here that I see God's smallest mercies most keenly. When I look for God, look to him for strength, I find him. Isaiah 40:31 says that they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not grow faint. Right now, take a deep breath and remember that even when you are weary of waiting, God will give you his strength. Pray like this. First, remember a mercy that God has shown you while waiting, one way he has strengthened you. Now, thank him for that mercy. Or if nothing came to mind, ask him to open your eyes to one way he surrounds you today. God, you speak in whispers. You whisper hope to me even as I wait for answers. Lord, open my eyes to your presence in my world and my life. Strengthen me, give me endurance as I wait. Thank you for your faithful love.
Amen. Now, I want to give you some time for some additional private reflection and prayer. And this I kind of want you to do alone. And so I'm going to play a song to finish. It's called "As Long as It Takes," sung by Meredith Andrews. And I want you to sort of reflect over the lyrics. If you need prompts, you kind of relate to the words, pray over them. And if you do want someone to pray with you, then please send us a message on any of our numerous forms. Send us a private message over the Classroom. You can send us emails both into our private accounts or to the CU account. You can contact us on social media however you want. If you've got something that you're dealing with that you're really struggling with and you want to craft that, then please let us know. But for now, we're going to pray alone and reflect over the song.
I'm tired. Do I have to keep proving myself? I'm weary and drawing from an empty well. I need you more than I ever have. So Jesus, come and shatter my darkness somehow. And I won't speak until you speak. I won't move until you move me. I won't sing over me. I will wait as long as it takes. I'm restless for something significant, but I'm helpless, 'cause I've done all I can. I want you more than I ever have. So Jesus, come and hold me. I'm shaking right now. And I won't speak until you speak. I won't move until you move me. I won't sing over me. I will wait as long as it takes. You are the comforter, so comfort me. Your love is tender, so big enough for me. You are my Father, and your love for me is where I'll find my rest. I won't speak, and I